You've got 30 seconds in an interview to make a connection and somebody to feel who you are. And that's what a lot of these kids don't understand in college. And that's the key to.
Yeah, I mean, how could they? I mean, 30 seconds is.
Yes, how could a generation that uses TikTok on a daily basis at all understand how to tell a story in under 30 seconds? I feel like they're better equipped to do that than most older people I know, to be honest with you. Hey, party people, and welcome to Nicole Reacts, a show in which I, Nicole, react to online marketing gurus that I find on the internet. My qualifications for snark and commentary are that I've owned a marketing company for almost 16 years. And in that time, I've worked with hundreds of clients on marketing strategy and implementation. I like to tackle with this series everybody from multi-level marketing trainers to established marketing gurus who, in my opinion, are resting on their laurels a little bit. Because the reality is that if there was one thing that worked for everybody, we would all be doing it. And I will advise you, if you want marketing advice about your business, do not give these people thousands of dollars for their cookie cutter approaches or their platitudes. Instead, take your money to a local reputable marketing company who's going to give you custom advice based on your situation. That could be us if you don't have a local person in mind, but it could also be lots of other people as well who are doing marketing in an ethical way. This is my second time ever recording in my new office. And the thing is, it's a shared space, right? It's a co-working space. So I can't really do anything super crazy here in terms of color, but I do have a green screen that's packed away somewhere. And our construction is almost done. So I'll be able to get into those boxes soon and actually start unpacking the rest of our office here, probably in the next couple of weeks. But I thought I would pick today's person because there is going to be plenty of color on the screen for all of us. Okay. So I just randomly got this marketing email. Actually, let me just show it to you. Now, the only reason I even noticed this email, I think, is that I'm using this new system for basically filtering my email. The company has given it to me for free to try out, and I'm going to be working on a video about it. It's called Bulletproof Inbox. And what it does essentially when you install it is it gives you three kind of tabs in Gmail. One is called approved, one is called the blocked, and one is called evaluating. And what it does is things come in and everything goes into evaluating. And what I decide from there is, do I want this to be somebody approved that I get email directly in my inbox? Or is this someone that I want to block? And I've been using it for about a month. I really like it. I'll do a more detailed video about it, but essentially the reason I noticed this is that my little evaluating pile after using this for about a month is usually pretty small. And this was in the evaluating pile the other day. I have no idea how I got on this list because I definitely would have remembered signing up for it. But I'm pretty sure this person maybe bought an email list off of somebody. I did do some like lady empowerment stuff the year I got divorced. I know it was the year I was getting divorced, guys. I was just kind of, a little bit more open to the woo-woo divine feminine kind of stuff, okay? Because I was just looking for answers. So I think this person must have bought me off a list like that because I'm not sure why I'd be getting this otherwise. Let me show you the email. Hey there, Nicole, star emoji, moon emoji. I am, all caps, over the moon, not all caps, to invite you to the ultimate celebration of girl power. Boss up like a queen, leveraging the sisterhood to live the life you love. Moon emoji, star emoji. I'm Jean Marie, your guide and leading queen behind this extravaganza. Picture this. I am the founder of Supergirls, professor of business innovation, a Wharton MBA, and your ally in this adventure of self-discovery and empowerment. I'm going to make a note to look up her credentials after this. Supergirls, by the way, Supergirls is spelled like you would expect it, except there are two L's instead of one. Supergirls, with two L's, was born from a dream to shake things up, to help college women soar to new heights. And guess what? We're just revving up. Now it's about banding together, creating an indestructible network, and lighting up that spark within each of us. If you've watched previous videos with me, you'll know that I'm always inherently a bit suspicious when people are only going after very inexperienced customers. So for example, when an established marketer reaches out to people who are thinking about starting a business, or when a business expert is going after recent college grads or current college students. Little pink flag here. It's not fully red, but it is definitely pink, maybe even hot pink, but let's continue. Why should you jump into this summit now? Now, all caps. Because it's so much more than an event. It's all about the sisterhood, a revolution, a band of women from all walks of life, entrepreneurs, creatives, academics, uniting to raise each other up. We are not destined to walk this life alone. The community will help you evaluate where you want to go, and there's no period after that. But a new section begins. Why boss up like a queen and why now? And then there's a crown emoji, a boost of confidence to smash those targets. Crown emoji, a treasure trove of insights to enrich both your career and personal spheres. Crown emoji, a sisterhood that's got your back, come what may. I'm buzzing with joy because being a part of this movement is my honor. Through the highs and lows of my journey, the sisterhood has been my secret sauce, and I'm bringing every ounce of that to you at this summit. Here's the down low. And I thought down low would be spelled DOWNLOW.
Hey guys, editing Nicole. Down low is indeed spelled wrong here. It should be spelled DOWN-LOW.
Maybe I've just been spelling down low wrong the whole time. I'll look it up after. 1, embrace the power of our collective force. 2, evaluate your life inside out. 3, expand your web of connections. 4, cultivate a rock solid belief in your own strength. 5, understand that unity is our superpower. Crown emoji, ready to sparkle, shine, and wear the crown? Consider this your royal welcome. Boss up now here. And then it's signed, Sister Love Hugs and Crowns XXOO Jean Marie. And on the very bottom is the clue as to where this person got my email. It says purchased leads. Now, part of when you set up an email marketing list, they ask you for a default message. And you have to say something to the effect of, you have gotten on this list because you opted in on our website or social media, or because you've attended a live event with us. So you have to give a reason why people got on this list. And all it says here is purchase leads, which sounds like more of something they would use internally, but they are supposed to tell us how we got on this list. If I scroll further down, there is a mailing address and a one-click unsubscribe. So it is following those email marketing laws. But the fact that it just says purchase leads and doesn't give me any kind of indication as to how I got on the list is interesting to me. I am 99.9% sure, though, that I know who sold this. For fun, I did go to the website who I think sold my information, and this is written on it. The highlighting is me. It's not highlighted. It says that we will never sell, barter, or rent your email address to any unauthorized third party. So anytime someone writes that, know that you can take that pretty much with a grain of salt unless you actually trust the person. Like, I don't actually sell, for example, my email lists to anyone. Just know there's some ethical people out there, but there are people who are just saying the things you're supposed to say without actually following the rules, apparently. One thing that really is bumming me out, to be honest, is that I forgot the tiara that I was going to wear while I recorded this video. That's right, I own a tiara. And the only reason I own a tiara is because my friend and coworker Jessica got it for me for my birthday a couple years ago. It's actually a really nice tiara. She used to work for like one of the premier tiara artisan studios here in the United States. So I actually have a really nice one. So I had to click through, right? I had to see what bossing up would look like. And I need you to prepare your hearts and your eyeballs for the amount of pink you're about to see. Now, pink is my actual favorite color. So this is no hate to pink. It's just that the design of this website is very 2010 pink. Okay, ready? So this is the site. If she's trying to co-brand with Barbie, I totally get it. You know what else I forgot? I have an I am Kenough mug that also would have been perfect, but we still don't have running water here at the office. So I'm still drinking out of disposable things for the next little while, but that would have been perfect. The tiara, the I am Kenough mug, it would have been perfection. Okay, I'm going to let it go. Anyway, so I thought we could watch this video, and the bummer is I can't make it any bigger. I did try to screen record it, but it didn't work. So I guess I'll have to increase my skill set there, but maybe we can kind of see it in situ here.
A beautiful girl is like hope dancing in stiletto heels. You know you're a beautiful girl, and you know that beautiful girls can do hard things. So why can't you get to the next level? Why are you stuck? Why can't you boss up? Girl, what is happening? I will tell you what is happening. You are trying to do it alone. Oh, no, 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 not up in here. My perspective is that it's all about the sisterhood. You need your girls. Whether you are trying to find a new job, a career transition, your first job, whether you think you have a book inside of you, or you just got out of a marriage, a relationship, you're going through a divorce, or you're jumping off that cliff into parenthood, whatever it is, you need your girls to boss up. And that is why I am launching the Boss Up Like a Queen Summit. Leverage the sisterhood to live the life you love. Join me on this journey. It's free. Go over there, click Boss Up Now. 21 expert females that will be speaking at the summit, sharing their experience, sharing their knowledge, tips and tricks of how to leverage the girl communities. Hi, I'm Jean Marie. I'm a professor and founder of Supergirls, and I inspire and empower creative leaders, helping you get to the next level, whatever that is. So I am telling you, if you want to get to that next level and you feel stuck, join us on this amazing summit. Get ready for 2024. Click that link now, Boss Up Now, and I will see you on the other side. I cannot wait to shine your crown, you beautiful girl.
So let's talk about a couple of marketing things that she's doing with this video. First of all, let's talk overall messaging. So the first half of the video almost feels like you're watching a psychic do a cold read, right? She's like, you're stuck. You're stuck because you're getting divorced. You're stuck because you're trying to change careers. Basically saying a lot of different things because you'll pick up on one of them. One of them, you'll be like, you know what? Yeah, that's the thing I'm going through. And then the second half, she's like, the most powerful thing you can have is a community of women around you. Although she doesn't use the word women, right? She uses the word girls. She's referring to me, the watcher of the video, as a girl, as a beautiful girl, but still a girl. And she is talking about how important it is to have your group of girls around you. And I agree that having a circle of women is really helpful. I don't think you have to join a general online circle of women that costs money to build that sort of woman community. I think most of us know how we would go about sort of connecting with other women personally. Like maybe, for example, we have a hobby that women traditionally participate in by majority. If you join a local sewing club, you're probably going to run into a lot of women. I'm not saying there's no men there, but like there's probably going to be a lot of women. Or naturally, you might be, for example, at the park with your kids and see a fellow mother and talk to them. You might join a volunteer group and run into women there. I think sort of personally, you could build a network of, in particular, local women that you're connected with. I think professionally, though, a lot of us aren't quite sure how we'd go about doing that. So I want to point you to a couple of resources that might be helpful. First of all, there might be a regional nonprofit that specializes, for example, in helping women in business and careers. So one that we have, for example, in the state of Maine is called New Ventures. So they specialize basically in helping women start businesses, but they also hold personal finance classes and stuff like that. And at least before COVID, they were doing in-person events too. They might be doing them again, but anyway, there might be a regional group like that is serving the women professionals or the women business owners of that particular region. Another place to look is that if you have a profession, there's probably a women association. So I'm just going to pick graphic designers. Let's see if there is one. All right. And just in this quick Google search, I have found Design by Women, which aims to showcase, empower, and celebrate women and underrepresented creatives currently working in the design industry. We have a Facebook page called Women of Graphic Design. And then we have womenwho.design, which seems to be a portfolio of women and the different kinds of designs that they do. Now you might be thinking, oh, graphic design, like that's a women kind of job. But you can look in even traditionally male-dominated industries and probably find some kind of professional organization like that. So for example, my friend Joy, she used to head up Women in Ag, which is a networking group for women who are in agribusiness, specifically, C-suite and other executives that work for large farming companies, manufacturing companies, and things like that. So if you are going to network and further your career, I think your time and money and effort would be better spent finding those kind of groups and networking with the people in those groups. And I think that they would be equally open to helping you out if you're an early career professional than this group of women that Jean Marie is getting together here, to be honest. So after I watched that video, I thought, you know what? I'm going to sign up. I bet that she is going to talk to a marketing person at some point in the 21 or 22 days, however long this is, right? Because if you're going to boss up your business or if you're going to advance your career, that is going to involve marketing yourself or marketing your business more effectively. She's going to talk to at least somebody about like storytelling or marketing or something. So I signed up, and after filling out the registration form, I got directed to this video. Now, keep in mind that that first video we watched was just like, hey, you feel stuck and you want to boss up. Hey, it's important to have women. Sign up for the summit. It's free. That's the messaging we got. We have not found out what the summit is going to be like. So I think this video might help set our expectations for the daily emails that we're going to get for the next 20 something days. What's interesting is that, and I know you can't see the URL, but the URL is bossuplikeaqueen.com/show/upgrade. And in the first video, she did mention her $47 community. I don't know if that's monthly or one time, but I have a feeling maybe this video actually won't set expectations, but instead might try to sell us on buying that $47 community package. But if I've just registered for something, part of what she should be doing is telling me about the thing I just registered for. So, all right, let's watch.
Congrats, you're now registered for the Boss Up Like a Queen, Leverage the Sisterhood to Live the Life You Love Summit with us, 21 Boss Queen experts to help you get to the next level. But it's not over.
Okay, real quick, and I want to just say this while we're watching it. She has a crown on and it keeps going in and out of focus. So I'm trying to figure out whether it's a filter or not. I think it's got to be a filter or else we would consistently see it. But let me know whether you think this crown is something she's really wearing or you think it's some kind of like Snapchat filter or something.
Okay, because for a little bit, just a tiny little price of $47, you can boss up like a VIP queen and join that experience with more coaching, personalized sessions, membership into an amazing queen group, and more. Okay, so click that link. Boss up like the VIP that you are because you know you deserve it, girl. You're already here. Why not take it to the next level? Boss up like a VIP queen, and I will see you on the other side. Don't forget to handle that email, jeannie@bossuplikeaqueen.com, so it makes it into your inbox. Share it with all your queen friends and sisters because this is going to be epic. Can't wait to see you on the other side. XOXO.
So I want to just point out one thing that you have probably noticed, other than that she's selling this $47 online community thing hard, is that she's told us in the first video and now this video to make sure that the emails that she's sending are not in our promotions tab. And what you'll notice is if you sign up for an email newsletter from a company, so for example, let's say I signed up for Factor 75, which is a meal thing. And I signed up for Spoonflower because they have really cute wallpaper. So when I signed up for those emails, they didn't say, oh, make sure we're not in your promotions tab. The reason that promotions tabs exist or filtering exists is that these are a promotion. So if you wanted to receive them differently, obviously you can decide, I want this in my inbox or I want it to automatically go in a folder. But like micromanaging how people experience your content, as you know, is one of my pet peeves. But anyway, I thought I'd have to wait most of the 20 days to be able to find a video that we could react to together. But I did want to find a piece of content from one of the 20 something days that had to do with marketing. And my chance came today when this came in. Hey, beautiful girl. So when I read that greeting, my brain starts from the place of like, wow, this person's calling me beautiful. That's so nice. I am beautiful. And I'm so glad that she like recognizes my beauty. That's for about like a quarter of a second. And then afterward, I'm like, why is it important that I am beautiful? Why can't I just exist? I think I also have an aversion to when I feel like someone's kissing my ass. It feels icky, but okay, let's keep going. And two things, I'm not going to read the emojis like they're things. And also the words boss up are highlighted because I was searching for this in my email. So if you see it highlighted, it's not highlighted in the original email. That's just my email program helping me find it. It's day 2 of our ultimate Girl Power Bash, Boss Up Like a Queen Summit. And guess who's joining the party? I'm Jean Marie, bringing you the movers and shakers in our sisterhood. Today, it's all about Deborah Olson Cooper, your career sculptor and narrative shaper. Here's the buzz. Deborah, the queen behind your career design lab, is here to turn your career story into a spotlight moment. With 30 years of crafting PR marvels and marketing magic, she's the guru who's going to help you shine in your career realm. Fun that she had little cartoons of all the presenters drawn. That's kind of cute. Here's the second part of the email. What's Deborah dishing out today? Mastering your defining moments, turning trials into triumphs, stepping up as a boss, leadership in unexpected turns. I don't know. That seems like weird phrasing, but anyway, crafting your career narrative, why your story is your power. Watch Deborah's interview here and get inspired. And then below the button where we're going to go watch Deborah's interview, it says, and hey, don't miss Deborah's royal gift. Grab your free 1-hour career coaching session and start crafting your success story. Click here to claim it. So I'm guessing the women who are presenting here, it's sort of a pay to play thing. She gets free content for her summit. They get free potential clients for whatever offer that they're doing. I'm guessing it's that kind of thing. And not to be a killer of all joy, but if we look at the button that's in that email, it has a yellow background and a bright pink text that says, watch Deborah's interview here. And I was like, you know what? That doesn't look very accessible because things need to be high enough contrast for them to be readable. And as we see with the contrast checker, it fails across the board. I'll link to this tool in the show notes if you want to use it in your own design stuff. I also tested it with white as the text color and it still failed. So if you are going to use a bright color, you're probably going to have to use like black or some very dark color if you are putting text on top of it. So just kind of be prepared for that. Since Deborah has a background in marketing and PR, and this does talk about storytelling, that this would be a potential marketing training to react to. But because these people seem to be sort of paying to playing as part of this summit, I'm wondering how much information we're actually going to get from this presentation. The video is 20 minutes long, so I'm guessing not much, but let's try anyway. Let's go see what Deborah has to say to Jean Marie and everybody in the Boss Up Summit about career storytelling, which essentially is basically self-marketing. Again, I apologize that I was not able to just record this and make the video bigger, but I think we'll get what we need to get out of it even at this smaller size.
Welcome back to the Bossing Up Like a Queen Summit. And today, oh, girls, do I have a surprise for you. This girl is the queen of your career, the queen of bossing up your career, Deborah Olson Cooper. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Oh, Jeannie, it's so good to see you again. Thank you so much.
Two things I don't understand about the people who are recording this. One is that she is using the tiara filter still, I think. And the presenter has this window with a lot of light behind her. So if you are recording something and you do have a window, it's nice to either have the window be in front of you or coming from the side. Having it be from the back can really make lighting difficult, especially if they have to be able to kind of see you well when you're presenting. So just kind of quality wise, I think this could be a little bit higher, but I don't think we're necessarily going for quality here.
And, you know, I love what you do because we all need to be badass.
Oh, and we are helping the next generation. And that's what she's going to talk about. So Deb is a career professional.
Again, we're aiming this at beginning career people, but we're inviting everybody. We're saying like, oh no, this is for if you're a CEO, this is for if you're a small business owner, this is for if you're just getting out of school and getting your first job. But content-wise, it seems really geared toward a younger or a less experienced career person. And I almost wish they would just say that and say, hey, we're looking for mentor types, right? We're looking for people who are established that can, you know, help mentor these young people, but this content is for young people. So that way, if I'm watching it and I'm thinking my young friend is just getting out of college, she might appreciate this and forward it on to her. I don't know. Like I said, the fact that this is for everybody and also that the content is aimed at a very beginner type person is a little bit odd to me, but
PR queen. Okay, let's just start with that. All right, like celebrities, like you name it, like she's LA, she did the LA thing. Right now, hello, she's streaming from Manhattan because, you know, it's LA or Manhattan, nothing else. Oh, wait, she did have a short stint in Miami, I think.
You can only be in a big city to be good at your job. Yeah, that sounds accurate.
But anyway, that being said, she is now the CEO, founder of Career Design Lab, which is an amazing concept that she created and developed and is bringing her magic to the world to help people figure out what it is.
What would be really powerful for her to do if she has come up with this system is to maybe walk through with the people watching this video one of her exercises. So this is part of a larger system I go through with people, but here's an example thing that I do usually within the first week of working with someone and then letting people participate in it. I crave an example of this revolutionary system she created, but I doubt we're actually going to get
I am
one.
so thrilled to have her because she's going to really enlighten us a little bit about some of the tips and tricks that she does with her clients.
Great.
That's right, Jeannie. I am. You know, it's funny you say about finding your place in life. And as you said that, I have always had this ability to find the gap in the marketplace. This is like how apps and stuff are invented. I wish I had invented one, but I haven't. But
Not
I
yet.
not yet. But you know, when I was doing PR and marketing and owned my own company here in New York, it was really about finding what story would really resonate with people. What story could people align themselves to buy a product, to buy into a person, to buy into a business, whatever it was.
Yeah, and I think the reason that a lot of people are attracted to marketing is that it is storytelling. I think that's part of what makes my job really fun is I get to meet people and talk to them and hear their stories and then tell their stories as part of marketing for my clients and marketing for us as well. When you boil down to what is marketing besides setting up systems and metrics and all that, in terms of the actual content, it's telling a story. So, makes sense to me. And I think that's why a lot of kind of people who are journalists. I grew up wanting to be a writer. I think the reason that creative types like marketing is because we do get to story tell with it. So makes sense. But are you going to tell us how
And
to do
about
it?
4 years ago now, I had a lot of friends at the same time kind of going, Deborah, Abby has an internship, but she's watching Netflix. And I'd go, well, why doesn't you speak to her boss then? And she'd go, she can't do that. And I go, what? In our time, you and me, Jeannie, would be in the boss's face, right?
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
Exactly. I'm like, what? I go, well, then have her write an email. And they would go,
I did a 2-video series about marketing interns and why I think a lot of companies set these young people up to fail and what they could do instead. I will link them in the show notes, but the TLDR is that most companies, in particular when they hire a marketing intern, just turn to this young person and say we need you to come up with our marketing strategy for this big thing. And the reality is they don't have the experience to do that and they don't quite know what you want. You're not giving them hey, here's something that this marketing person did for us. I'd like you to do something similar, but for this other thing. They're not giving them parameters. They're just too busy to actually give the intern sort of advice and feedback and stuff that they need. They just want them to sit in the corner and produce stuff that they can bill for. And I think it's really gross. So I will link to those videos in the show notes if you want to watch them. But yes, part of it is on the intern to ask for more work. But if that internship was set up in such a way that that young person can sit there and watch Netflix, that means that somebody who was in charge of setting up the internship did not think through the expectations, did not think through how the intern was going to get feedback, did not think through different ways they were going to be able to check in with the intern. They have not set up systems as a company to actually help that intern. An intern isn't free work. Yes, you are getting things from them, but they're also supposed to be getting things from you too. So to me, that's a failure on her company, not on the intern. And the fact that she feels like she can't talk to her supervisor about not having enough work, to me, indicates a toxic work environment, not a problem with that intern. To me, that is a symptom of a larger problem. And that intern is just showing the gaps that exist.
she can't do that. I'm like, okay, there's a problem here
Yes, with the company.
this generation.
This is infuriating. No, it is not this generation's fault. It is the company's fault. Okay. I have talked to so many interns, and basically they're a 22-year-old who's taken 4 marketing classes and ran their sorority's Facebook page. They walk into a company for an internship and they're like, yeah, we need you to come up with our entire marketing strategy for this new product. That is not it. Or they don't know what to give them to do, so they give them dumb things to do, and it's not enough to fill their time. And there's only so many times you can walk up to your boss and say, hey, is there anything else I can help with, without feeling like you're being annoying. My last real job was like that. Basically, the first 2 weeks, I felt like I was constantly acting busy all the time. I would ask my boss for stuff, but he was too busy to like give me more stuff to do. And at one point, he just handed me a manual for Sony Vegas and was like, why don't you just teach yourself to edit video? I got to learn a lot of stuff at that job because they didn't have enough stuff for me to do. And eventually, I slowly got more and more work so that when I quit, they actually had to hire 2 people to replace me instead of 1. So don't think it is up to the 22-year-old who has just walked into this brand new environment to advocate for giving the company more value. I think it is up to the company who has created this internship program and who probably has experience having other interns before to set the tone. And like I said, the fact that someone's afraid to talk to their boss or doesn't feel comfortable talking to their boss about something, to me that says there's a problem with the boss, not that there's a problem with you. But I love this generation. Gen Z, I'm a millennial who admires you.
I need to do a deep dive. And my deep dive showed me that so many of these kids don't know who they are in order to look in the mirror. Because whoever you see in the mirror, as you know, is what you're bringing into a potential job. And if you can't see that person.
Okay, audience poll here. If you're above the age of 22, okay, if you look back to when you were 22, did you know who you were at 22? Did you know exactly where you wanted to go career-wise? Leave a comment. I'm really curious what percentage of people knew exactly what they were going to do at 22. I can name exactly one person I know in my real life who did that, and that person is my sister. My sister grew up, she's like, I want to be an elementary school teacher. She went to school to be an elementary school teacher, and now she's an elementary school teacher. I can't think of anyone else in my life who did that and who at 22 was like, yep, this is going to be my career trajectory. And 10 years later is still on that trajectory, to be completely honest with you, other than my sister.
In the mirror, AKA you, then you're not bringing your value into it. So I realized there was a need for me to do deep dives into this generation to find out, to ask themselves the question, who are you? And how I do that is I developed a program that does that. And
How?
really it starts with the to-do list. It's kind of like, remember in the old days, like, oh, I could have had a
yeah, that's it.
right? So it's kind of like,
she's referring to a commercial, I think in the 90s, there was like I could have had a V8. I could have basically drank a whole serving of mainly vegetables. It was a vegetable juice. I think it still is, but anyway, that's what she's referring to in case you're watching this and being like, what's she referring to? She's talking to a certain generation here, which is of either elder millennials or Gen X talking about Gen Z. And I do not think you have to do a deep dive on a generation to understand Gen Z at all. They want authenticity. They're not going to do things that don't align with their principles. They're not going to put up with a crappy work environment or, poor boundaries and things like that. I don't think it's hard to understand. Like I said, I just look up to them. Like, go you guys. It's awesome.
Yeah, that could have been an interesting thing to have done. And the first question I ask is, what were you doing in your room when you were lost in your passion and your joy and happiness when time just flew until your mom called you for dinner? I can tell you 99.9% of the times, I don't care if you're 21, 29, 30, all the way up to 60-year-olds, which I work with, it's like, oh my God, I loved doing puzzles, or I loved music, or I loved this. Because what happens is as we get older, it's not who you are, what you're lost in. It's what are you going to do for a living? What school are you going to? What community service are you doing? What's your GPA? And it gets buried, buried, buried. And so what I do is take a shovel, honestly, dig up the S. Yeah, excavate the S off of you so you can go back to that shiny dollar to find out who you are and then bring that value into a potential employer.
I mean, it's intentional, okay? What you do, like, not everyone is.
I don't think this is a new idea, though, right? I mean, if you read What Color is Your Parachute, one of the exercises they have you do is write 10 stories where you solved a problem. It could be in your personal or your professional life. Like, you tell the whole story, and then you're supposed to look at it and say, okay, like, what skills did I use, or what talents did I use, or what, abilities did I use to solve this problem? So I remember like one of mine, I like looked at it. I was resourceful with limited resources. I was flexible. I was communicative. It helped me figure out what my strong personal qualities are to figure out what kinds of things I like doing. But I'm not sure if, like, yeah, looking back at what you like to do when you were a kid. Yeah, I mean, I liked making videos with my sister and reading and writing in my room. Not this marketing career is not really a surprise to me, but I also really loved swimming. No one's going to pay me to do that. I really love skiing. No one's going to pay me to do that. Like, I feel like when you go back in your life, you probably really liked a lot of different things. And I think it's important that you incorporate those things that make you happy into your life so that you're happy in your life. But I don't think anyone's going to pay me to ski. I don't think anyone's going to pay me to read young adult novels all day. What they will pay me to do is use my communication skills, my limited resource skills, and all that to do my job. But I should be in a young adult book group. I should go skiing some weekends to make myself happy. So yeah, I think getting at like what made you happy as a kid is good, because regardless of whether you do it for work or not, I think it's important that you do things that make you happy.
We just need to be led by the hand. And I agree. It's not just, I mean, you know, I work with, and as a professor, I work with college students in that generation, same generation, and now it's going to be alpha soon. Oh God. But it's about,
If you don't like working with young people, don't work with young people. There's lots of other things you could be doing. I really like working with young people, to be honest with you. I really do miss teaching sometimes, but being in a school environment, I find personally really exhausting, which is why I admire the work my sister does. Being in like a school building and all of that just drains me. So, yeah, if you don't like young people, don't teach then. This God help us thing about the people you're working with every day is kind of silly.
mindset. It's about what you said, like, what is your passion? And then, yeah, you get busy with life or whatever it is. So it could be somebody from college. It could be somebody after you had kids, or you've been a mom. And it's like, now I got to reinvent myself again. And how do I do that? And Deb, you're so good at helping people like tell their story. And she came and spoke to one of our groups, one of the women's groups that I run. And they were just like, they were blown away. And really did so many of them like afterwards did like all this introspection. And I mean, we're not talking about college students now. We're talking about grown-up girls that
They're not grown-up girls are women, okay?
like have had 2, 3, 4, whatever careers, families, and stuff like that. So what is the magic? I know we can't give away all the magic, but what is some of that magic?
Why don't you just give them one thing then? Give them like one exercise that you do, or like one set of questions that you ask, like something.
That gets people to do that?
Going back to finding what their passion is and what their joy is. And like I had the privilege to speak to your incredible women. And it's interesting. I just worked with a 55-year-old man who sells private planes. And he's like just so done selling the private planes because he works on it, these multi-million-dollar planes. And then the wife comes in and goes, "Oh, I really don't like the red interior." And then the whole deal is off and he was like losing his mind. And he always wanted to do women empowerment movies.
Yeah.
His joy. Yeah. So he came up with a true story of 4 Filipino women, true story during World War II, whatever. And I happen to know, because of my PR background, I know a lot of people now that are in big positions, some of which I helped to get there, but nevertheless, and I called them. We got a producer that got us to a production company, and now he's greenlit on Netflix to do this movie. That's about having a passion, finding an opportunity, right? It's all about, and you kind of mentioned this, it really is.
But it sounds like it was about him meeting her and she had the right connections. It's kind of about who you know, right? The moral of the story isn't knowing your passion, it's meeting someone like her who can connect you to Netflix.
Magic. We get away from our intuition, from the magic, for the opportunities that exist in the universe. And I try to teach the kids this as well, that there are opportunities at every turn. You just got to be open to them and then have that value addedness to yourself to be able to step into it and not be afraid of the opportunity.
I think most of us aren't afraid of the opportunity. Like, if your dream was to play water polo in the Olympics and you met a water polo coach, most of us are going to shoot our shot, right? But what is this value add thing? So what can I give the water polo coach to make them want to take a chance on me? Make them want to see me play water polo, or make them want to make a phone call for me to get on the AAA equivalent of water polo. Seeing the opportunity is one thing, but like, What can we do to make it so that when we do that approach, that opportunity is actually available to us? So this value add thing, I'm really curious how she's going to explain it to a young, unconnected, recent college grad.
Do you know what I'm saying? So we were able to move him forward, and now he's greenlit for Netflix.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah, and he spent millions of dollars making private planes. So he probably had also some money. Maybe he's not fully funded by Netflix. He probably could offer some money from all his private plane dealings, right? Just had to plug in because apparently this video recording is going a lot longer than my computer or I thought it was going to.
I mean, this is about women, but I'm happy for him because the film's about women being empowered. Okay.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, it's I've worked with so many women that's the same thing. Older women who, like you said, have been in this and been in that, and now they want to pursue that, and it's the same thing.
But it's such a gift that you have to be able to. It sounds simple.
Is it a gift or is it a well-maintained network that she's worked really hard to build and maintain over the years? You know what I mean?
You make it simplified because you have to do that because otherwise people need a framework. Okay, I got this milestone and I got that and I got that. But having someone like yourself, and this is so true of just what I believe in, and helping each other, lifting each other up and shining each other's crowns, is a mentor. You're like this unbelievable mentor to help people, like you said, open up. Because like you said, you just have to be open up. But it's not that easy. It's not that easy to be open.
You don't have to pay for mentorship necessarily. You can find somebody who is in a position you want to be in career-wise 10 years from now. And you can say, hey, this is the kind of position I want to be in 10 years from now. I would love it if, maybe once a quarter I could send you an email, ask you some questions, maybe get some advice when a career decision came up. Would you be open to that? And I think when you contact these people, you have to kind of tell them like, the expectation you have if you're asking them to be your mentor, because I've had people be like, hey, can you be my mentor? And it's one of those things where I was like, I don't know what that means. Are we talking once a week? Am I having lunch with you once a month? Am I just answering an email when you have one? Like, I don't know what I'm committing to as your potential mentor. So just if you do have someone in mind, just approach them and sort of say, hey, like this is the kind of guidance I'm looking for. This is kind of how often I would like to talk to you. Is that something you'd be open to? And I think most people would say yes. And if you're not even sure who to start with, you can just start with your local SBDC or SCORE office. And you can say, hey, I'm looking for a mentor in this field. And even if there isn't someone in that office, they probably know somebody they can connect you with. So you do not have to pay $250 an hour to have a mentor. Okay. Just
open when you've been smacked down, thrown around, kicked on your ass and in your stomach, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you have some kind of a gift to get people to, be like, okay with that. Like, okay, let's put that to the side. And
well, Jeannie, to your point, what I do is I rewire. I'm in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and all of us, no matter what trauma, drama, things kids have gone through, whatever their family background is, it's interesting you say that, because what I have found in these years, even like just in the last year, I spend so much time, it's about career, but I spend so much time excavating their pain, their drama.
I just want to point out that these people and I are contemporaries. I think we're around the same age. And I was in college when 9/11 happened. Actually, I was in class when the first plane hit the first tower. And we as a country were traumatized with just one day where just this mass tragedy happened. Meanwhile, the kids she's talking about have lived through a global pandemic. We're watching a genocide happen where Palestinian people are being murdered every day. And our government is sending money to murder them. Like, there are all of these problems and it's weighing on people. It's weighing on me. I can understand if you're a young person, how would that be weighing on you? Like I said, I want these women to remember how they felt about September 11 and then just picture living with a lot more trauma when you were younger. And yeah, no wonder you're excavating personal issues. We're in a freaking hellscape. And we're in a hellscape while their brains are still forming. Yeah, it's going to affect you. My God.
Their trauma.
Yes.
In order to rewire that thinking so that we can reframe it in a way that you are worthy. You are good enough. You don't have imposter syndrome, or let's look at what you feel is imposter.
Okay. I understand if you have a bit of imposter syndrome at the beginning of your career, you don't know everything yet. That's totally normal. Why not just say, hey, listen, imposter syndrome. Yeah, like you are worthy of the job you have, probably, but like you don't know everything yet, and that's okay. Why not say
Imposter
that?
syndrome and excavate all of those beliefs, get rid of the limiting beliefs so that they can empower themselves. And then I show the strategies of how to use that power moving forward.
Because you have to make room. That shit's just taking up space that you need to do this massive movement forward.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
I'm just like, I want to see those wings. I want to fly to New York right now and have you work on me. Just like put me in a room, shut the door, excavate. No, I'm only kidding. I
don't know. You can also just go to a therapist too. You know what I mean?
I feel like I've done a lot of this work already.
Yes, you have
When
done the
talk
work.
We've done, yeah, I'm sure you've done the work. I'm sure you have more work to do. I think most of us are in that position that we've done some of the work. We probably have more work to do.
It's just so, it's like, yes, I want to go do this right now. And
Well,
you know that's how the girls felt when you spoke to them. They were like,
yeah, but you know what? That and it's such, even for me at this age, right? To find the purpose. When I talk about what I do, I am so passionate about
oh
it.
yeah, no doubt.
And
No
to
doubt.
see these kids like in their own thing going, oh my God, I didn't realize I was this, or I was just working with a young woman.
Didn't realize what? Like in the work together, you excavate and help them figure out their trauma and limiting beliefs. But like, it's just really vague here of, oh, I didn't know. Like, what didn't they know that you helped them realize?
Woman now. And it's so interesting when I was working with her, it was kind of the messaging was, well, I was enabled my whole life by my parents, or I was criticized by them. Well, how do you go get a job, right? Or go after your career or your dream career when you've got that belief? And at some point,
I'm a little confused by this example because, like, your parents, as you're growing up, probably are going to enforce the decisions that you've made that they think are good, and they're going to discourage decisions that they think are bad. Am I missing something? Maybe I'm just missing something.
you're
Yep.
now, to be honest with you, you're in your 30s now. It's your choice whether you want to continue your life with that belief system or you want to change it to get after what you want. And it's funny, towards the end, it was incredible. She spoke like a whole different person. And she was so proud of herself. I mean, it just takes up your whole body when you
Really
get
does.
attuned to yourself.
It's really different. But there's also work here. Okay, I don't want to diminish what you do because it's just big. We take you get them into the mindset, but then and understand the passion, but then you got to figure out what to do with that, right? Like my passion is watching Hallmark Christmas movies, okay, but that's not going to get me
Yeah, no one's going to pay you to do that.
employed somewhere. So how do you take that? And I'm not saying we can go into that now, but the point is, how do we take that and you help them with that, right? You give them some kind of a roadmap to kind of figure it out, like a puzzle.
That's exactly right. I say I'm your GPS. Like you may
Yeah.
know how to get there, or you may not know how to go there, but I will be your GPS to go, let's turn right, let's turn left. And it's, it's a strategy.
So if I enjoy watching Hallmark Christmas movies, are you going to like dive in with me and say, okay, like what about this do you like? Do you like the cozy small town life that these people seem to have? Okay, like maybe you need to live in a small town instead of a big city. Maybe that's stressing you out. Do you like the predictability of the storylines? Hallmark actually takes scripts. You can submit a script. I've been wanting to write one for a while, but I haven't had time. But I want to write one about a co-working space, and I want to call it a co-working Christmas. Leave a comment if you if you think I should write it, and maybe I will. Maybe over Christmas break, maybe I'll sit down and write it and submit it and see if they take it. But point being, like, what? Okay, I like doing something. Do I need to figure out how to get paid for it, or do I need to dig deeper into why I like it, understand it, and try to incorporate those elements into my life? That's what I'm trying to understand. Because I thought she was a career coach, but she hasn't really talked about anything career wise except the private plane guy and making an introduction to a Netflix person. It sounds like she's excavating trauma and trying to find your passion, but I'm not necessarily seeing how that translates necessarily into a career. Like I said, if I like Hallmark movies for the small town vibes, like I love that there's a little Christmas fair and I like that there's a town gingerbread house competition or whatever. If I like that sort of lifestyle, maybe I need to find a place that like fits that aesthetic for me and relocate there. And that has nothing to do with my career, except I probably need to find a remote job or be willing to run the Christmas tree farm or something.
And people don't realize, this generation doesn't realize it's a strategy. And that's kind of funny you said that, because they did get somebody to write a Hallmark movie. So that a Christmas Hallmark movie. So that's funny. I swear to God. So that was just so funny that you just said that.
I gotta talk to you about that. Off
They have the guidelines on the Hallmark website. I'll link them in the show notes in case you are watching this and also curious about
the
it.
script here or whatever offline. I gotta talk to you about that.
Yeah. So no, I did. I got them to a producer that was involved with Hallmark station, the Hallmark channel. And now they're writing a like a Latin, actually, holiday Christmas show.
Well,
Okay, so it sounds like you're paying this woman to introduce you to people she knows in Hollywood. But there is a submissions process for us normal people if you do want to write a Hallmark movie. But it sounds like this is a much quicker way to get it done in probably a more effective way, to be honest.
perfect, because that's such a need right now. That's perfect.
Well,
my God.
exactly. Again, finding the niche. But what I do
Uh-huh.
is I take you through then the proverbial questions that everybody's going to ask you. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What do you want to do 10 years from now? And take what you've done and now who you are from the to-do list, and let's create some stories.
What is the ta-da list? I still, I could have had a V8 just means like, oh, like I should have done that. What is ta-da? What is ta-da? Maybe I'm just missing stuff. I don't know.
I'm a storyteller.
Okay.
So now you're going to have 4 or 5 stories around the things that everyone's going to ask you, and you're going to be able to tell it in a way that someone can feel who you are. Because, it's like Maya Angelou's quote, people forget what you said, people forget what you did, but people will never forget the way you made them feel.
Mhm.
You've got 30 seconds in an interview to make a connection and somebody to feel who you are. And that's what a lot of these kids don't understand in college. And that's the key to.
Yeah, I mean, how could they? I mean, 30 seconds is
Yes. How could a generation that uses TikTok on a daily basis at all understand how to tell a story in under 30 seconds? I feel like they're better equipped to do that than most older people I know, to be
like
honest with you.
nothing. That's
Right,
nothing.
right. But
Yeah.
it can be done. It can be done.
No, I agree. I'm just saying, but it has to be, again, intentional, roadmapped, practiced.
What is this roadmap? Like, I don't understand. Like, if I'm going to write Hallmark movies versus if I'm going to work my way up to a CMO role, those are 2 different careers. Those have 2 different roadmaps to get to where I want to go. I don't get how she has one roadmap that's going to help everyone.
Passion. The passion makes such a difference.
Correct. And then ultimately what I do is I'll open doors for you, because it's not what you know anymore at all, basically. It's who you know.
Okay. If she has legitimate value of saying, listen, I have a Rolodex, I'm not afraid to take it out for you, that might be worth paying for. I would say that's the thing. I don't need her to walk me through what my strengths and weaknesses are. I feel like I could do that myself, or I can talk to people I know and ask, hey, what's something that I did that you really admire about me? And what personal qualities do you think it shows about me? Ask 10 people that you're closest to about that. And I bet that you'll have a pretty good list, probably better than the list that she's going to generate for you.
And so I teach what it looks like when a door opens to vet you enough to be able to speak in the way that you need to speak to land it. And just by opening those doors with the president of this or the CEO of a partner of a accounting firm, whatever it is you want to get involved in, when they know that it's coming from Deborah or it's coming from your career design lab, they get hired.
I feel like that's quite the claim. I would understand if it sounds like she will make introductions if you're a client, but as someone who's receiving that introduction, I might be a little bit suspicious of how good it is. If you're paying to play, are you actually good, or did you just pay? That's kind of what I would wonder about.
And I don't say I'm a headhunting firm or anything like that. I just prepare you in a way you could never be prepared for your whole life, not only for a job, but in everything you do.
I prepare you for your whole life. I don't know. So what? You're like a parent? I don't know. I'm just saying, like, this is quite the claim. I would like to see it backed up.
Yeah, your whole life. It's a life skill. It really is.
The thing she said a second ago that I meant to comment on is she talked about the way that you speak about something. And my first quote unquote real job was in a nonprofit. In that job, I learned about like copying other people on emails strategically. I learned how to speak nonprofit to people. So I learned to say, what are the funders expecting from this project? Because I know that they have given us money to do this project, but there's probably some expectation. So I need to understand what that is before I start to make sure that, oh, we need data from the first day and the last day, that I actually collect data on the first day, that kind of thing. I understand if you want to work in an industry, if you were to sit down and watch a bunch of YouTube videos of people who are in the game design industry, how do they talk about designing games? How do they talk about approaching things like, music composition for games or designing characters for games and stuff like that? What kinds of phrases do they use? How do they talk about their colleagues and their roles in the game design process? That kind of thing. If you got familiar with that and then went into a job interview, I could see it going better. It's almost like learning a dialect, right? When I got my geology degree, I actually bought a geology dictionary so that when I was reading scientific papers, I could look up what asymmetric boudinage was, for example. In case you want to know, I'll put what asymmetric boudinage is on the screen and I'll link it in the show notes, but it's one of my favorite structural geology things. Also, it happens to be French, so that's fun. The point being is that every job has a vocabulary, and if you immerse yourself in it, you're going to be able to have more intelligent sounding conversations about it. She didn't really touch on that, but I think that's the kind of thing you could do if you were going into a job interview in a new industry, is to see if you can figure out how they talk about stuff so that you can talk like they do.
That is awesome. Well, we are so honored and blessed to have you here. So I want to know what programs you're working on now, because I know you changed it up, and I know you work with clients
So this video is 20 minutes. We're 15 minutes in. We introduced probably for about 5 minutes at the beginning. This is very fluff. This is like a long format commercial. And she's going to probably spend the next 5 minutes talking about her program.
all the time.
If she does, I'll just stop it.
Types of clients, but then you do other interesting, magical things. So let's hear about some of those.
Exactly. Well, what I love to do is just share as much free knowledge as I can about this. So actually, coming up in November, I've got from college life
It's November 18, the day I'm recording this. So I think they must have recorded this ahead of
for
time.
real, because a lot of these young people post-COVID are having a really hard time adulting. So I'm showing
Me too.
what it looks
I am also having a hard time adulting post-COVID. I get
like
it.
to go from college life to real life. And that'll happen November 2nd. So it might, but I will be continuing that.
And Jean Marie is like, this is going to be posted after November
As
2nd.
well as I'm doing something called Launchpad Parenting, because I realized that I get a lot of call from parents that are still acting like their kids are in 8th grade. Did you send out the resume? Did you do this? Did you make this call? Did you do this? And it's not perhaps what young adults need to hear. So I have.
Yeah, I guess if you're hounding them, probably not. Again, I think if you want someone to communicate with you regularly and openly, you have to be kind of non-judgmental and just ask for information. So maybe when you are sitting at the table, hey, how's that job going? And they say, oh, I don't really like it. And you're like, oh, are you thinking about changing jobs sometime soon? Ask them questions, draw it out of them, make it a conversation and not like you should be doing this, you should be doing that. I don't know. I'm not a parent. I'm just saying that if I was trying to get someone to consider changing their behavior or something, it would probably be really important for me to understand what they were interested in doing and why before talking to them about it.
Program where I help you to get curious with your young adult and help to guide them, but perhaps not, lead the trail.
Oh my God, curious.
You need to have a program for that. I mean, I can understand learning about things like nonviolent communication, or maybe going to a therapy session with your kid and saying, hey, listen, I want to help my kid in their career. I don't want to be a helicopter parent anymore. And then you can have maybe a therapist help you and your child work through the dynamic of having conversations like that through a few sessions. I think that would be a lot more helpful.
This is such a good word. I am so guilty of this. Not anymore. I learned. So guilty of that. That's the last thing that you need. So
You know what?
It's so funny because as somebody who's child free and I'm 42, I'll meet people and one of the trainers at my gym who's 19, his mom is 42. His mom is my age. I think his mom was born the week after me or something. I guess like I think about it, I could have a kid in college right now, honestly.
Jeannie, all of us, all of us.
Mhm.
It was one of my best done programs because I realized who was calling me, but the parents. But
Also, the parents have money. Like a 22-year-old is not going to be like, yes, let me hire this career coach for $250 an hour. They don't need money. Go after the parents. The parents have the
parents.
money.
And I thought, okay, well, there was another gap in the marketplace. We all did. Nobody gave us a roadmap on that one.
So who said that the road to hell is paved with good intentions?
exactly good.
Being a parent is really hard. I don't know what this person's background is. I don't know if they have a therapy background. I don't know if they have an interpersonal communications background. I don't know if they have a negotiation or a presentation background. I'm just trying to understand what this random person who, yes, might be well connected, in the entertainment industry, who might be able to have conversations about careers. I don't get how they can help you be a better parent to adult children necessarily, but
intentions, but perhaps
Yeah.
the wrong way.
Oh.
Now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then on my website, I also have a lot of free content. Everybody can download the to-do list for free. I've got an online program that's like $49 that goes through all my whole program. If you just wanted to kind of do it on your own, like an online class. And then I just hope that people I welcome through this program that you're doing is to give me a free half-hour call. And I'm happy to speak either with your child or yourself about what needs to happen in your life to get to where you need to go.
So if you reach out to Deb, use the code SUMMIT, Boss Up Summit, she will do that 30-minute call with you.
Yes.
And what's the best way for them to reach out? Should they just email you, hit you on LinkedIn? What's the best way?
what's interesting is she's offering a free half-hour call, and below this video, it says 1 hour free career coaching session, value $250. So do I get a free half hour or a free hour? It's a little unclear to me. All right, and she's just gonna sell for the next little while. So what I'll do is I will link to Deborah's website if you wanna go check her out and wanna see her stuff, because I can't link to the original video because it's gonna go away in like 10 hours. The day I'm recording this, it's gonna go away by tomorrow. So at least you'll be able to kind of see this person in context, but more looking into, because it is what this whole program is underlying, is this Jean Marie person. So let's look into her a bit, shall we? I'm gonna warn you, this website is a little bit odd. There is pink on it, but less pink than you would expect. So let's go look at the Supergirl's website and see if we can't find Jean Marie's full name so we can look into her a little more. So we know from our lookup previously that this pink background with white text on it is not accessible. And Supergirl's written in orange on a bright pink background is also not readable. So it says on the top here that 5% of profits go to girl causes with love. And I know that that sounds nice, but it's like basically if I have some money left over in profit, 5% of it will go to a charity. Okay. There's NFTs. Let's go look at that real quick, because whenever I see NFTs, I'm like, oh God. So building NFTs and the metaverse. We transformed our entrepreneurship studio into the metaverse incubator. So there's NFTs. Oh God. Okay. Mission: we empower you to chase your dreams for your life after college. So this is aimed again at very young women. Okay. Hero Whispers podcast. So there's girls in action, just the girls. Launch like a girl intro, some testimonials. Okay. Where's Jean Marie? When I go to their about page, it's Mariah Carey's Hero song, and then a link to Mariah Carey's Hero video. By the way, I loved this album. I learned how to play Without You on piano, and I think it's one of the few things I somewhat remember how to play. All right, Chief Supergirl Jean Marie. No use of her full name. Interesting. Jean Marie is a real-life Supergirl, 2 L's, with a vision to spread girl power all over the world. She is a recovering fashionista who realized that life after the 7th Avenue was about empowering her younger sisters. So her street cred, she says she has an MBA from the Wharton School, which is a really good business school, and then a BBA from the College of William and Mary. In her video, she said she was a professor. It doesn't say anywhere she's professoring here. So let's go see if we can find her on LinkedIn without her last name. Again, I think it's an interesting choice to not have her actual picture and to not have her last name on this page, and to lead with Mariah Carey and not her as the founder of the company.
A few moments later.
All right. So she does have a separate website, jeanmmcphillips.com. I'll link to it in the show notes, but this is kind of her Jean Marie brand. It looks like she is a consultant to Web 3.0 companies. Meet me in the metaverse. Inspiring and empowering Gen Z has been my mission at the Savannah College of Art and Design. So does she work at SCAD? Let me go find her there. When I search Jean McPhillips SCAD, she is on the SCAD website as a business professor. I think it's interesting that she kind of goes by Jean Marie when she's like girl empowering, and she goes by Jean McPhillips when she's a professor. But she is indeed a professor, so she wasn't like lying or stretching the truth about that.
Hey guys, editing Nicole. I was thinking a little bit more about this, and to me, there's something a little bit more sinister about this, which is that she has a day job of working with college students, and then her side hustle is selling something to recent college graduates. I know we use the term grooming to talk about older people who cultivate romantic relationships with young people who are not of consenting age. And there's something about her being paid a salary to spend time with people who are going to become her customers later on. It's not grooming, but it's something that feels a little bit predatory like that, a little bit sinister like that. Back to the video.
I was trying to find the Facebook group or that thing that she was talking about. I'm trying to find that $47 offer that she's trying to sell us. And I went under Launchpad because I think that's what she was referring to it as. And I brought me to this page, and it does look like it has tools about personal branding. Okay. And that looks like I can download it. And when I click on This Is Your Happy Place, it brings me to a Facebook group that only has 2 people in it, which is a little bit confusing. So let me look around the website a little bit more. I'm just sharing my whole screen because it seems to open in different windows. Digital Chi Launch Challenge, how to help break through the noise online and get my first job. Again, geared at very young people. So what is the answer? Find out more. What is the Digital Chi experience? How does Digital Chi work? Okay, I'm not going to read this whole thing. It looks like it's a couple of day event. Okay, and then I'm directed back to the coaching site. So there's one-on-one coaching. So there's a 30-minute session, and then there's 10-hour Power Girl sesh for $997. Because why wouldn't it be $997? Let me go to her Facebook business page and see. Okay, there's the day 2, which is what I'm on. There was day 1, I guess. And there's 217 people following this. I don't know. For it being like a fully digital platform aimed at young people who are very much online, you know what? Let me go to Instagram. The young people aren't on Facebook. What am I talking about? They're on Instagram. So let's go there. Maybe they're more engaged on Instagram. Okay, yes, 761. That's about how many followers I have. Mariah Carey again. I don't know. It seems odd. I think this woman is very intelligent and she knows about business, but like this online community thing, there's something that seems off about it, and I don't quite know what it is. I'm not seeing the $47 thing on her website. It does seem very much part of the sort of email and Boss Up Summit messaging. It seems like there's a lot about the $47 thing in there. So maybe it's exclusive to this particular event that's happening. But at the same time, like, I'm trying to understand, okay, if it's after this summit and I was interested in joining the group, how would I go about doing that? Like, what's the normal pricing? It can't be the group with 2 people in it. There has to be some other group. I think the Boss Up Summit, much like a lot of these kind of online summits, is getting a bunch of people together who have coaching and courses and stuff like that to sell you. There doesn't seem to be a lot of content. That 20-minute video didn't even have one exercise in it about like, here is something you could do to help you figure out how to tell your story better, like nothing like that. You know what? Let's go back and look at the email and see what we were promised real quick. So we were promised 3 things. Deborah is supposed to have dished out mastering your defining moments, turning trials into triumphs. All I heard was that Gen Z doesn't have great coping skills and they have a lot of trauma, and that we should basically get rid of imposter syndrome and go for what we want. But okay. And then stepping up as a boss, leadership in unexpected turns. I didn't see any examples really of leadership in any of the things she was talking about. And then crafting your career narrative. Why is your story your power? She talked about knowing people and how that was important. And she talked about how You had to look at what you were kind of good at and what your experience was that made you who you are today and be able to tell a story about it, but not, and other than being in a job interview, like, what, I'm not really sure why else you'd use that story. She didn't talk about like how you'd use that story to like update your personal website, or how you'd use that story to update your LinkedIn bio or something like that. There wasn't like concrete reasons for like where you would put this newfound knowledge about your story, except knowing it inside you so that when you're talking to a prospective employer or something, that you could have that conversation in a more effective way. So anyway, I feel like if you want to boss up and you want to build your lady career network, there is ways to do that. If you have some ideas that I didn't mention in this video, please leave them in the comment section to help others. If you like these videos where we talk about marketing and people selling marketing solutions and communities and things like that, there is a whole playlist called Nicole Reacts on the YouTube channel. You can also visit breakingeveninc.com, which is my company website. Go to the blog section and click on any of the Nicole Reacts videos there. If you want to lightly keep in touch, we have an email newsletter. I will not sell your name to anyone. So don't worry, you're not going to get weird emails about acting like a boss lady that they were purchased from me. And if you go to breakingeveninc.com/newsletter, you can see samples of past newsletters, as well as see a form that you can just write your name and email, and ta-da, you were there. Listen, Jean Marie, she's a real one. She has a Wharton MBA. She teaches business at a business school. I'm not saying she doesn't know about business and marketing and networking and building your career as a woman. I just don't think you joining an online community where she's going to try to sell you other stuff, or you paying $997 for coaching sessions, is probably the best way that you can learn from her. I think if you want to consume some free content, that's fine. But yeah, she's a marketing guru. And if anyone tries to put you into a one size fits all program about your marketing, they're clearly somebody who wants to make money off of you versus giving you a custom solution that's going to work for your business or nonprofit. So just keep that in mind. Thanks so much for watching. If you have gurus that you want me to react to, you can leave it as a comment on this video. Or if you're more shy, you can use the contact form of our website, breakingeveninc.com/contact. And you can tell me privately there. And remember, the gurus, they'll just keep on coming. But the good news is you have a friend, that's me in the marketing business, that's not afraid to call them on their bullshit and even tell you when I think they got things right. Save your money, save your effort, and get custom advice from a real, well-reviewed marketing company, whether that's us or somebody in your community that you like and trust. Thanks again. Have a great day.